This episode is brought to you by Kikko Socks. With a pair of Kikkos, you'll have an experience that keeps you focused on your performance and not your feet. Use our coupon code POD15 for 15% off your order at kikkosocks.com.
Be sure to follow us on Instagram or YouTube at podpractice_pod. Email us at show@podpracticepod or listen on Spotify at podpractice.
We're switching things up a little bit where usually I've been asking what is that noise? Did we figure...
Smith, we're recording, man.
That's Zoji Rushi. Welcome back to Pod Practice. Quinn and Kins are remote again today, but happy to have our guest in-house with me. We are recording this right after both North Carolina teams finished their respective three-peats in the college division. So congrats to Pleiades and Darkside. But today we're talking with the defending club champion with Molly Brown. DJ Sa, a.k.a. Miss Lisa, a.k.a. Lisa P, a.k.a. LP, a.k.a. Lisa Picaithley. Lisa, welcome to the show.
What an honor. Hey, thanks for having me. And you did your homework. You know my DJ name.
Oh, yeah. I asked
incredible.
He looked it up. So, LP, you are one of the most beloved players in the community.
I don't know about that adjective.
Infamous?
Yeah.
Should I say infamous? Notorious?
Maybe controversial.
Okay. But you are friends with more Frisbee players than anybody that I know. Actually, if I had more time, I would have clipped together like all the times you show up on a stream, but like on the sideline being like high five, like giving somebody a hug, like, what's up, dude? Is it as easy to make connections as you make it seem? Like or is this something specific to Frisbee for you, or is this just Lisa P?
I think that part of me is definitely in my core of just like really enjoying and loving people and just like really wanting to connect with other people. So I think that's been a thing since I was well before college. And then I think starting in college Frisbee, right? You like meet all these players and, you know, starting at UC Santa, or I should say starting my playing with LPC. I played on the men's team, and I just like, that is where I feel like I really kind of like blossomed into this like very extroverted person. And they were a lot older than me at the time. I was the youngest, and they were always hosting like a bunch of games. We'd go on all these trips, we would meet all these teams, and they kind of like showed me the ropes of Frisbee. And then from there, I like went into UCSB, just like loving Frisbee, loving the game, loving all the characters that play. I think everyone is a character and they have their own like special traits. And sometimes their personalities are a little bit louder than others. And I like to know all the like intricacies, and I really like to know people's past, if you will. They're like, okay, how did someone get to where they are now? I think that is why I love Enneagram so much. It kind of unravels into the whole why we are what we are. I studied psychology in college as well. So I just like love people, and I like to their core. And I think that a lot of times people are good. And I just like, you know, I also think that people have made me, you know, and it's like a constant give and take. So I just like love connecting with people, and especially people that I think are fun or interesting. And I think my spectrum of who's interesting is very, very broad. Yeah.
Yeah.
So just a preview to the Enneagram segment, does that make you, are you a 4 then, or is that just...
Nah, dude.
No, I didn't.
No.
Okay, I didn't think so. That's
Quinn
like
has
the most
bad
social
guesses. He's
ones,
bad
though.
at reading people.
The 4 is the social one though, correct?
No? 4 is the romantic. Those are the individuals.
Okay.
So kind of the opposite, actually, of the social.
Yeah.
Indeed.
Okay.
No, stereotypically. 7 is the very social. We're called the enthusiasts.
Okay.
So like, as soon as we find something that we love, we're like, hey, come learn about this thing. And it was so funny. I couldn't have been more my personality when I first learned Enneagram, because I brought it back Nut introduced me, and then I brought it back to my house. It was like, you all need to learn this, blah, 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 before I really even understood it. And that is just me to a T.
Oh, that's interesting. I didn't know that Nut was knew about it. You're so knowledgeable in it. I didn't know there was someone before your time.
Mm-mm.
Yeah.
Nut.
Yeah.
I mean, Nut is that like master teacher and everything. And I remember when we were first dating and I flew out to visit him, we had like, I don't know, an hour to kill before my flight. And he's like, do you know what the Enneagram is? And I'm like, nah. He's like, all right, let's go to Barnes and Noble. So we picked it up, and then as soon as I started reading, I'm like, what are you trying to tell me, man? What do you?
Yeah, I can feel like it's a lot. It's a lot when you first get introduced to it.
Yeah, but I read like the whole thing basically on the plane.
Should we segue? Just go straight into the Enneagram question. Actually, I mean,
but I'm also kind of interested in like what this team was that Lisa was playing on before college, and like just like
it was college. It was a community. Las Positas.
Okay.
LPC.
Yeah, we right after high school.
You played after high school with them, or you were still in high school when you?
So LPC is a community college right in the Bay Area, and they were kind of known for having a bunch of ringers back in the day.
Like Simon Higgins, Sonny, Kevin Cox,
Bob Lou,
Robot, Adam Rady, and there's about like other names, but who didn't play club.
Time. Oh, like club.
Like didn't go like a lot of those names like went to like Revolver.
Yeah.
Played polar bears for a really long time and stuff like that.
Right. Does that answer your question, Kins?
Yeah, sure. That'll suffice. I'm still like interested because I didn't know. And it's kind of
What's up with LPC nowadays? You know?
No idea. I have no idea what's going on with them.
But that was how you got introduced to the game.
So I played in high school, and do you all remember Jam?
Yeah, I do.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, Kins.
Yeah, I don't remember it. I know about it.
Me too. Yeah.
I don't like. I'm not like.
I saw
remember when Jam was dominated the Bay Area. Bart Watson, so best player in Ultimate history.
Hey, nice, Bart Watson. Bro.
But no, yeah, I wanted to be like when we started Lotus. I wanted Lotus to be Revolver and Bravo to be Jam, but it didn't happen. Something better happened.
Yeah,
does that surprise you, Quinn? Does that surprise you at all? Is that really a shocker?
You've always been a dreamer.
Yeah, exactly.
Twist here.
Okay, yeah, it's fine. Can you all hear me all right though?
We need we might need a Smith assist on that later.
Yeah. Okay, so the question was about LPC.
And just kind of like how it impacted it was more just like your story of getting into Ultimate, and because you seemed like it meant a lot to you, and I just didn't know that you played there, and it also seems like a kind of unique experience to be a woman playing on like a all-male team. So it's kind of like it seems really interesting to hear about like and also like how like you think it like positively whatever or how it impacted you at all. It seems kind of interesting.
Yeah, I think, it impacted me in a lot of ways. For starters, my high school team was led by Alan Tho, who was on Jam. And he was the math teacher there. He was, oh my God, he's a riot. I love him. He was like my first coach. Wonderful. And he was like, you all are going to practice with the college people, with the college guys. Because they practice consistently, they're really good, and you'll get good really fast. And I'm like, okay.
That's cool.
Then that team was incredibly inviting and very fun and really good, and also had some great coaches that I still talk to every once in a while. And they just like had such a great community, so many different things going on, like I said. So I got to play at this level that as a high schooler, just being like, whoa. And it kind of gave me like some really thick skin. And they also made me think, and also playing with older people got to have me think about the goals that I wanted and like what kind of player I wanted to be. And they like allowed me to like think about that and, really guide me on what kind of player I should be. So it impacted a ton.
Did you play?
It's so interesting.
Did you play
Was
sports?
this before or after Polar Bears?
So with that team, with that LPC team, that was when we were like, hey, let's pull together a layout team. This is in 2010. Let's pull together a layout team. We'll call ourselves Polar Bears. There's this whole story about pickup lines, whatever.
I remember that from Bob.
Yep, from Bob. Yeah.
Well, let's hear the story. Let's hear it.
Well, all these dudes would have horrendous pickup lines, and one of them was, "Hey, how do you break the ice?" I can't remember.
Something about a polar bear.
Yeah, something about a polar. Okay, gotcha.
Okay, so we make this team for layout. We win layout, which is like a huge tournament. We're like, and then we're all like, should we be a club team? And everyone was like, fuck yeah. So we were a club team, and then we won nationals that year.
Yeah. and actually right before you walked in, I was lamenting to Quinn how like I had been playing mixed from
That's so ridiculous.
04 to 2010. I had 2 second place finishes and like this because I actually good friends with Bob. I knew him.
Get fucked, Mike.
Yeah. Yeah, I'm like just
Lisa just stepped into your division and just like won first year on a whim.
Yeah. I was like, God damn.
Hey, that was really fun, y'all. Let's do it again. Let's go for sectional. No, let's go for a regionals win.
That would kill me. That's honestly insane. That you just made a team and walked into the division and won the whole thing. That's a little ridiculous.
I know people really hated that. People really hated that. But
I mean that would suck. That would suck to be a part of. And have that happen to you.
And then you got second the next 2 years, right?
Yeah.
11, 12, you got second at nationals.
Okay, yeah. You want to know what sucked is that we lost to Blackbird every year, and that was a team that never practiced. So it was like, we came in.
So what the fuck is going on in that division? Like the team that never played before
that's mixed.
comes in, wins, and then they get knocked off.
But...
They get knocked off by the team that doesn't practice. It's like you guys thought you were doing minimum amount of work. We're gonna show you another level of not doing that.
I mean, Shame.
That's crazy.
Shame is like the modern version of that, right? But they've been tanking so as of recent, right?
Yeah, a few years ago they were
one good year.
Universe.
Did they make
Universe?
Yeah, Universe point loss in finals.
In semis. Yeah. I was on a non-practicing team too, and we made finals twice. So. Mixed.
Maybe talk quickly on trying to repeat, Lisa. Was it difficult going back to back? Did it affect? I'm actually curious. Like, do you think how big of a part of that was in not winning again, or was it like more you thought they were just a better team, or like what?
What was the first part of that question?
Like, did the pressure or of being the former champion like affect you in the next year?
I mean, I was so young. I was like 19 or 20 at the time that I didn't really have like a ton of pressure. I don't think pressure was the thing. I think we just obviously repeating is incredibly difficult, as we will experience this year, all of us.
Yeah.
And
that's another angle.
And like for sure we're going to have a target on our backs, and like we're going to have to go like that much harder in everything, and like not expect anyone to just like mess up. You know what I mean? Like sometimes we can get lucky, and not to say that it was luck, but I mean sometimes the cards need to fall in place. But like kind of going in with this mentality of like if we're in like every game is an absolute battle, and like it's going to be an absolute fight, and like really expecting that. I think something that I think is so impressive with UNC is that, they're a team that's like not ready. They're not wanting the other team to turn it over, or they're not like, desiring them to just like fuck up, or like, expecting them to like turn up. They're like, no, they actually are going to do everything in their power to make them lose the game.
Right. Yeah. Yeah. They play the most beautiful offense and just like the most disciplined defense, I suppose.
Yeah.
Obviously Mama Bird had a disappointing exit in pre-quarters. So I came home early and watched finals on the TV up here, and I was texting that, and it was like, I can't help but root for them watching them play, because it's like they play so well together, and it's like the right way to play.
Right.
Obviously, I was pulling for Quandary, but man, both those teams are just machines.
They're just better.
Yeah.
So can we talk
Yeah,
about?
Mike, I felt the same way.
Yeah.
About UNC, I texted Maddie actually, and I was like, "Am I crazy for wanting UNC to win?" He's like, "Yes," but I'm just like, I just want them to, like, they're just so good, and it's so hard to be so good for so long that, like, I don't even care. Like, I want them to win again.
Yeah, and I feel like a lot of people like hate them for being so successful, but I kind of respect it.
I respect it.
It's like,
I envy it.
Yeah, like, yeah.
Right. If you don't like them, I think it's because of envy.
Or jealousy.
Oh yeah, are we going to talk about the difference between envy and jealousy?
Is that an Enneagram question, or is that?
Do it.
I think now would be a better time than ever.
Do it. Yeah.
Oh no, I was gonna.
What is? I actually don't know. Lisa, could you enlighten me?
Let me think. Jealousy is where you like once had something and you want that thing again. And then envy is like, damn, we gotta look this up. I looked it up a month ago.
Should I Google?
Please.
Why don't you Google while I'm not.
I also want to know, how was your experience? You just came back
Losing?
I mean, the whole tournament. Like, what was I watched all the games.
Yeah, explain yourself, Mikey. Explain yourself.
Yeah, we actually we recorded with the Colorado College coach. I haven't posted this yet, but before I left, and I was like, am I going to be ejected from the state if we lose? Because Bravo posted something like Colorado's for champions or something after CC won D3. It was a weird tournament for us, though, for sure. Like, it almost felt like we didn't play a real game because we played Cornell first and won 15-2 in the wind. Like, that just didn't feel real, especially not like a nationals game.
It was super windy the first day.
Yeah. And then we played Pitt, and Pitt was good. They played like this really good hard trap, and they really sagged people into the trap side lane. And, like...
Classic.
We run a lot of forced middle concepts, and potentially one of the cons is we just don't practice against traps that much. We didn't flip the field well. Like, it was very obvious watching, like, if we can just complete a swing, we'll probably be okay. But it was sometimes easier said than done. But
it is, because it's in that crosswind.
Yeah, and
so
we did get
really difficult to.
We got a ton of turns from them as well. I think it was like there were like over 50 turns in the game. It was pretty brutal.
There were literally
59, I think.
59, Jesus. Yeah, and then we, kind of steamroll through Washington, kind of steamroll through Texas, and so those like didn't really feel like real games either. And then all of a sudden we're in this battle with Oregon, and we thought that Itai and Micah Glass, I just didn't think they would be able to play so well throughout the whole game, but they really played super well. We had some unfortunate turns. Like I think we had our O-line turned it 5 times or 5 or 6 times, and they converted 3 of them. Mm-hmm. And we got, 7 or 8 turns from them and converted, I'm forgetting, less than they did. And we had a bunch of first throw turns on after we got the disc. And it's just one of those things. Sometimes you, like you were saying, things just kind of have to fall the right way sometimes. I mean, we have nobody to blame but ourselves for that one. But and then they played well. Micah was amazing, and Itai was amazing. And Laurie, Coach Will, brutal. He called one of our play we call Sea Cucumber against us.
Bested by fucking Coach Will Laurie, man.
Yeah, and it worked. Micah threw a dot to a streaky receiver. And,
That's hilarious.
That was sad, but I was really happy for Will.
What were the matchups like against Micah?
We had Zeke guard him a lot. Yeah, Zeke did a pretty good job.
Who?
Zeke?
On who?
On Micah. Was that the question?
You're sophomore or for
guarding who?
Oh, you lagged there.
Okay.
Micah is
no.
And what about Itai?
Well,
I was just wondering like what you do Itai and Micah. Sorry.
So Buck went out early, so we couldn't use him on either of them. He would have been the matchup, but so we had. Sorry for dominating this conversation with Lisa here, but yeah, we had Zeke on Micah for most of the game. He did a really good job. Nanda might have taken it sometimes. I'm like kind of blanking on who was guarding Itai mostly. Calvin Wood when he came over. Cannot think who was on him normally. But yeah, they broke well. Like they know our defense because of Will. I don't know how much that helped. He downplayed it. He said he didn't know what to tell them, but they executed well against our D. I think probably the best of any team that we played. What was your other question, Kins? Was that it?
No, it was mostly that because it's just interesting how like those two players, especially Micah, just were able to play so well and like basically.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. Micah, I think, is a first-year player.
The impact he had on the game was like
huge.
Okay.
Micah played like semi-pro hockey, I think, in a gap year in Europe, and then
in Estonia.
And his dad played.
His dad's like a legend in Chicago.
And his dad was a really good ultimate player.
If we want any, I'm not sure I understand the difference between envy and jealousy, but I can try.
Yeah, did you look it up?
Yeah, I've been reading like this whole time, and I thought I would figure it out, but I still could barely. So envy is like longing to have what someone else has, attributes or possessions, doesn't really like just what someone else has. And then jealousy is like feeling almost threatened by someone else of something that you already possess.
Or
once
possessed.
Mine says jealousy is unpleasant suspicion or apprehension of rivalship.
Yeah, jealousy is something you have and you're threatened. Envy is something that you don't have that you want.
So then going back to the dark side stuff, is it jealousy or is it envy?
Well, I don't have what they have.
Envy. It's envy.
It's envy.
It's longing for someone else's advantages.
Do they both
envy.
have negative connotation?
Yeah. You're not jealous.
Yeah. They do?
Yeah.
They do.
I don't think there's any good
way to
anything
envy
good
something
that comes out of jealousy.
Yeah, and I guess envy is considered a sin, but I've been using envy the wrong way for a long time because I'll say like, "Oh, I'm not jealous of that person, but I am envious," as if like so I'm happy for them, sort of thing, and I would love to experience what they are also. Wow, I've been using that wrong for a long time.
You're longing.
Yeah, I suppose.
Yearning.
Pining.
I yearn.
I was gonna go somewhere with that, but I forgot. Should we just talk about the Enneagram?
Yeah, let's do
dying.
Okay. All right. So last week we talked with Nut about the Enneagram. And everybody that we talk to about the Enneagram says we need to talk to you about it.
Oh God.
So what what does it mean to you, or can you give us your thoughts on it and what it means to you?
Yeah. Okay. I think it is a tool. It is a tool for you to have more self-awareness on how you engage or show up in the world. First and foremost, in order to for self-knowledge, and then it can expand much farther than that. And it's a tool in order to figure out how other people tick and figure out why people do what they do. I have found it incredibly useful for humanizing folks. Because sometimes I'll just be like, why the fuck are they doing that? Don't they know it's super destructive or harmful or negative or whatever? And then it's like, oh, right, they're doing that because of this other thing. So it's been like really helpful for me to just like come to an understanding about others, but then also really for myself. It really kind of started with like understanding me and how I ticked, and then tweaking and changing some things, and that will always be a forever process. But I mean, I think about it all the time. Every time I watch my shitty reality TV with my friends, we're always talking about, oh my God, they're such a blank. It's very fun. And it's very fun to like try and get to what their type is as like fast as possible, as little.
Not like information.
Yeah, with as little data.
Can you, for people, Lisa, for people who are unfamiliar, can you explain what it is if they don't know what it is or they didn't listen to the last podcast? Can you explain what it is?
Yeah, it's a personality typing system. It's based on like 1 to 9, and it's based in like psychology with some well-known psychologists, and it's similar to a lot of the other ones, but like Myers-Briggs, I'm sure everyone is familiar with. That one is like really focused on people's strengths, and hey, if you wanted to be or if you're a campaigner, here are some great jobs for you. That's also a nice tool, but Enneagram goes a lot deeper than that and like really starts to talk about like childhood patterns and how those affect people's personality. And I mean, to me, when I first read it, I just thought the whole focus was like, you know, little chunk of the good, and then the rest of it is like why you suck and like why you need to be like better, or like, you know, what it means and what it looks like for you to be unhealthy. And then also gives you the like guidance to get out of that and to like know what those signs are, and yeah, just like bring that awareness.
Have you had any specific epiphanies that like are noteworthy to share, or you're willing to share?
I could give like I guess not super specific unless I think of one, but one of the things that 7s fault to.
So you are a 7.
I am a 7, yes. So something 7s really love, right, is like being super positive, always finding the silver lining, never really focusing on the negatives. So something that we don't do is we don't like to sit in negative thoughts. And to me, that is like a lack of sometimes like empathy, because I'm not sitting with negative feelings. I mean, this could be like a personal thing, but also with like friends, right? So it's like when someone is going through something, sometimes I could just be like, well, blah, 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 when in fact I just need to like sit with it, listen a little bit more, instead of just like trying to get to the solution, trying to get out of the like shittiness.
Yeah.
I just sometimes jump that gun where I'm like, actually being a really good friend right now would just be like sitting with that. That's like more on like a relationship thing, but then also for myself of like being gracious with myself and being like kind of like, okay, these are negative emotions. I should like sit in this myself and feel what this feels like, and then like progress through it at an appropriate timeline.
Is that just about feeling the feeling, or like also contemplating what, like why you're feeling it, and you know what I mean? Like,
Yeah.
Are you actually trying to dig into all of the reasons you're feeling the way you are, or is it just the notion of I need to
accepting
not
it?
Yeah, I need to not ignore this.
I think it's important to, like, if I do start to feel like that, I think it's important to understand like how I got there. So a little bit of that. I'm also not entirely sure what your question is asking. Let me sit with this.
Yeah. Sure. Yeah. While I try to rephrase this question, we're being delivered.
Oh, Smith.
I feel like you're trying to ask, like, are you trying to find the root? I feel like Mikey is what he wants to know is like, are you trying to find the root of the problems, or are you just sitting there feeling with the problems?
Yeah,
but that's kind of hard to
like.
It's
Are you
hard
trying
to separate those.
Yeah.
know, I guess.
It's hard to separate those.
Okay, that's a good answer.
I feel like
that's a fine answer.
I feel like naturally I try to find the root. Like, usually I'm trying to explain why I feel a certain way if it is like something that's making me sad. But sometimes it's so hard as well.
Right.
To know why.
Hey Smet, are you doing this with us, man?
You may not ever know.
All right, we'll figure it out.
Oh,
sorry, you two.
It looks like yours is.
We'll figure it out. Don't smell it.
Bigger than the other one.
Okay. Yeah, Lisa's shooting. Are we shooting? Or are we sipping?
Shooting.
All right. Cheers.
Shooting.
Cheers, guys. Oh.
Thanks, bartender. Mind rum.
We've talked about. Do we have more to talk about on the Enneagram front? I feel like we might.
Well, I would just like to know what Lisa thinks Mike is.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, nobody seems to know, and I don't know the Enneagram.
It's tough, man. I'm not good at it, but it's tough for
I
sure.
think...
Mikey's like 14.
Okay, so I actually texted Nut on the way over here.
Oh, did you get a response?
And I think we're both thinking you're a type 5, which is the investigator.
Yeah.
Inquisitive, and you're all about competence, like to be really competent in things and like really want to understand the world. So it's like, if you don't understand something, you won't like try to explain it. Instead, what you go do is like go spend time figuring it out, so then you could like be competent in that and like
this feels right.
Yeah.
This sounds right.
For the most part, 5s are, I'd say, introverted.
Yes.
Not to say that they don't like people or are like total recluses, but
definitely fits the bill though.
Yeah. And a lot of 5s, this is also stereotypically, so 5s are like in NASA and they're like engineers and they like to figure out how things tinker and, not a lot of like client facing or go to market kind of folks, if you will.
Yeah, that fits me. That fits me pretty well.
That's Mike.
Tell me some of the negatives, quote unquote.
You're like so independent where you will just like not engage with the like people. And you could be like kind of socially
awkward.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And like not pick up on social cues. And another 5 that we all know is Denny.
Okay.
And Bob.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
Bob Lou.
Oh
Bob
yeah.
Lou. Okay.
Bob Lou's a 5.
I thought Quinn probably thought you meant Bob Cryer, but
Bob Cryer's a 5 too, though.
Oh, I could see that.
Is he definitely?
He's a hard. He's on the more like farther spectrum than Mike, though, as far as like
engineer,
the social aspects,
awkwardness.
Yeah,
we should play this game. Shop actually taught this one to me, where they start reading stuff on types, like with their frisbee team, and if it resonates with you, you say ding.
Okay.
And then like you kind of talk about it, and it's like a very social, fun, interactive.
I'm in
game, if you will.
Kins, are you still there?
Yeah, I'm chilling.
Okay. Chill Kins is with us in darkness.
Chill Kins, Sage Kins.
Chill Kins. Oh, Kins, you remember? Kins, you remember when?
You can try to come back.
I'm back.
Okay.
Oh, that's perfect. No, not laggy.
You're great.
Wow.
Yeah, it's
Just
better.
go with it.
What a gift.
I'll make it work.
It feels better.
I'll make
Everything
it work.
feels better.
Yeah, I'll make it work.
Kins, do you remember when? So Kins came over for Thanksgiving last year.
Yeah, and then he came. Actually, he stopped by my house right afterwards.
Oh, that's how you did your rounds.
I'd moved in that day.
Really?
To this house, yeah.
Oh my goodness. Did you try his blue cheese?
That's right. Wow, that was funny. Anything, I don't think.
But I remember reading Enneagram to Kins, and he's like, yeah, I can. Kins, be honest. Were you maybe kind of swaying over Like maybe getting something out of it.
Yeah, I was. I'm always like, I feel like I'm skeptical of things generally, but I see the value in it. Definitely, for sure.
Hell yeah.
I think when you feel like you're being like pigeonholed into a number, at least my nature is to be like, no, you don't know me.
Right.
I am not that number.
I don't like being labeled for sure.
I don't. Yeah. And I was like, I don't align with some of these things, but a lot of them, a lot of them,
8, right, Lisa?
Oh my God.
See, I don't like this whole thing about it. Like, I don't like how we're like, oh, look at that 8.
Right,
oh, Bob,
right,
he's a
Lisa.
5. Let me tell you about Bob. Let me tell you about Bob. I think it's more of a personal thing, and like you can get a lot of value out of it by like reflecting on the things that it's saying you in like a personal way. But then just like labeling other people, I think we lose some of the value.
I think that's my favorite part. Is just like throwing a number at someone, even though it's like completely wrong, and just seeing.
God, that's such a 3.
Yeah, I love throwing.
I can't believe it.
Yeah, throwing Enneagram right in someone's face when they don't want it. That's perfect.
What number indicates the person that would number people?
What indicates?
What number is like you're a 3? Like me saying, what's the what's the labeling? What's the labeling type?
I mean, all of us could do
We're
it.
getting meta.
But sometimes I feel like that. Yeah, that's what I'm saying. Like that could be a similar trait in like a lot of different people, because I'm sure that there's a lot of
overlapping characteristics.
Like overlapping and like how many different characteristics are in the book, or like things that they say. I'm sure that like some show up in like, and they talk about it, I guess like you're kind of like your number, but you can be the number adjacent to you or whatever. So, or you have like, Lisa, you get like a what's it called? You get like a minor number, correct?
Like the health
as
level.
well.
Yeah, you integrate and disintegrate, and you display those characteristics of those, and then you also have wings. Are you thinking of wings?
Oh, that's why Nut
Yes,
was saying
I believe
wings.
so.
Oh yeah,
wings.
while you were doing the wing
Yeah, I was like
challenge.
Yeah.
I had no idea
I don't
what I
know.
was saying.
Mike, I kind of think a 3 is someone that is a labeler. Because I'm a 3 and I'm a labeler. But just like the wanting to be right is kind of a 3 thing sometimes. So like,
yeah, for sure.
Trying to be like, it's like, oh, you're that.
Yeah.
And you just want to be right about it, so you're just saying it because you want to be right about something.
Yeah.
All right, let's.
So that's kind of, I don't know.
Can we talk about Nut for 30 seconds here?
What a 3.
I would love to do nothing more.
I've told him that my job as a coach for him, because he's always right. He kind of is, honestly, especially about Frisbee at least.
Or he makes you feel that way.
He does make me feel that way.
No, dude.
All right,
he's right a lot of the time.
I'll fit.
I
Because
agree with he's right a lot of the time.
This is
I
Quinn and I
that.
connected over this the other day. It's so he's kind of like shit. He's kind of like the Peyton Manning type. Like there's nothing I can provide for him in a qualitative way. I can't help him become a better player unless I'm like, dude, get in the fucking gym, or like if I make him do something like that, maybe like fitness wise, but I can't make him be a better, more skilled. I can't make him I can't teach him anything really. I could maybe change the scheme and let him, like maybe he'll buy in. But so my what I told him is like, I can give you qualitative things though, quantitative, which I wouldn't give to other people. Like I would say to Nut, like you need to have fewer than 5 turns this game or something like that. But I can't tell him like you misread the situation.
How?
Yeah, like how to, like generally not. Like there are sometimes because I have like an outsider perspective, I can be like, you might have missed this, but very, very rarely, I would say. So like he that like sort of need my job is to sort of keep him grounded, I guess. Like I always the most candid that I am with him is I'm trying to keep your ego low, as low as possible, because he knows he's good, but he also knows he likes to be right, I think, and he knows he's right a lot of the times.
Yeah.
So
my thing with it is yes, he is right about the frisbee stuff like the majority of the time. But when he's wrong, he can almost convince you that he's right. Even though everybody in the room knows he's not, he can still convince you that he is right about it. Like it's like he just like gaslights me into thinking that he's right, and I just go with it. Because I'm just like, oh, he's right most of the time, and then I think back and I'm like, I just don't think he was right in that situation, but most of the time he's right. Yeah.
Yeah.
That's why they killed Socrates. You know that. Fun fact. Making the lesser argument a stronger, something like that. He got like charged and killed.
We're just sick of this
as a
guy.
philosopher.
We're killing you. So watch your back, Nut.
Yeah, okay, not what I was saying. But
anyway, sorry for taking this off the rails. I don't remember where we were now with the Enneagram. Do you guys remember?
We were talking about threes. We were talking about threes.
Labeling.
And Nuts a 3.
We could talk about this
we were
for
labeling people.
Hours.
Yeah, you know what would be okay? You know what my dream is, to bring it back to Enneagram?
Yeah.
Is I really want to, this is like bucket list. I want to host a tournament, and everyone that comes has to be on their type's team. So,
Dude.
And I want to see what type would come together and win the whole thing. Kind of like a sunbreaky kind of thing, like where we camp, there's a big party, it's so much fun, and like it'll just be like a great community thing. And like
but my types won't want to participate in the party.
Then don't go.
Yeah, you might
You're
not.
tight.
If you lose pool play, you'll probably fly home early.
Yeah. See ya.
Right.
Anyway.
I think it'd be so fun. Okay, so people that you've already talked to on the show, like Joe White, he's a 4. You should talk to Joe. Did you talk to Joe White about Enneagram?
No, we didn't.
Liam?
We didn't.
Do y'all know what Liam is?
No, but you need to tell what is it for?
Individualist, the romantic,
Okay.
the highly moody.
Dramatic.
They can, dramatic. They can, I love this line. This is something Joe sent me. He was like, we can create and sustain moods.
Sustain.
Yeah. The creating moods is very funny.
There's no sustaining.
It's also almost like they're really, I don't know how to say this in a good way. I don't mean any offense by this, but it's like almost like they're really focused on themselves most of the time.
Yeah, they can be self-centered in their unhealthy ranges. But in their healthy ranges, oh my God, can they just like, they are incredible, like capturers of emotion. They're like phenomenal poets, and they can also be like really good guides in like the human experience. They're really interesting.
Good at a festival.
Oh, yeah.
Music festival.
Definitely. We love a 4 at a festival.
What was there more to the tournament?
That's kind of all I have right now is the vision. I just really want to see what type would win.
I like that.
Ones
I
I think
idea.
would give us a run for our money. If you know anyone like Claire, Alika,
I was gonna
Saul.
say,
Ones
if you could get enough ones in a group, but I don't think you can get enough. There's not that many.
Help
Is there?
us out.
At least
No,
I don't know.
Help
there's-
me out.
there's so
What's
many.
a 1?
One is the reformer, and they're all about like doing what's right and what's good. Their like major fear is being like bad, evil, defective. So they're constantly, they're like, they're just trying to put forth what's right.
Yeah. Like almost to a fault, you mean? Like
Yeah. And so they could be incredibly, right. Every strength is our weakness, right? So too much of that comes out as being incredibly judgmental and critical and rigid and thinking, no, my way is the highway. This is how we're going to run the team. This is how we're going to run this O-line, where it's like, yo, you could actually be wrong. And they're like, no, I know this.
Does make me think of Claire. A little bit.
But
of
she's
a
also right a lot of the time,
She is.
I think.
I kind of think 7s might win. They would have the most fun, and I think it would
That's what
come.
Kins
They
is.
would, like
No, Kins is an 8.
Oh,
No.
Kins is an 8.
7 is
8s? Oh my God.
least-
8s. I wonder how y'all
what?
would
Wait,
do.
you have to help us out with the definitions.
I don't align. I'm
Here you go, being an 8 again.
7 is what? Seven's though. Let's go back to 7.
I'm Enneagram fluid, so I kind of just.
Actually, we all kind of Enneagram fluid.
Yeah, exactly. So don't pigeonhole me. I exist in between. You're just manifesting what you want. I transverse numbers and planes of personalities.
Yeah, we can't put you in a box, Kins. We would never.
Yeah, don't put me in a box.
I think nines though would win. If you think about nines, okay, let's think about nines. Smith, Nee, Jack Williams.
Freak athletes? Is that what a 9
absolute,
is?
Because nines are just like, they don't.
Sorry.
Oh, shit.
We have a. I will explain that very quickly. We have a long 6-foot dowel that was sitting on top of the couch that Lisa accidentally knocked off, and we have that to practice snatching in the house. So apologies.
Nines, I think, are just very instinctive. They're like the center of the instinctive triad, to where they like don't think, that they just do. Well, so they're very like.
You just described 3 of the very best players I've ever met.
Right. There's a bunch of other 9s. Who am I missing? I don't know. 9s are everywhere. They're so good. Frisbee.
I think Jarvis a 9.
Jarvis is definitely a 9. Plow's a 9.
Yeah.
Instinct.
Let's think about other top teams. Anyways.
Do we want to play that game that you want to play, Lisa? Just for
yeah.
5 minutes.
The
or
boat.
We passed it.
Sure.
Should we do it for 5s?
Sure. Is that what you think I am?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yes.
Okay,
it's what we know you are, Mikey. We know you're a 5. We know who you are.
I'm gonna read rigid
5. And every time you act, it aligns yourself with that number.
Every time I act?
Yeah.
Okay.
Anytime you do anything.
Okay.
You're just making more of a case for yourself to be a 5.
Okay. I'm going to read just a little bit. I haven't read this before. I didn't do my homework. But this is talking about when 5s are appearing healthy. It's called integrating. You go to 8, which is Kins's number.
Oh, I go.
Which is like quite the opposite of what a 5 really is, right? 8s are challenger. They are super dominating, assertive, like to kind of like be very present in the environment. I'm trying to say this in a nice way. You're very engaged with the environment, Kins. Okay. Get your dingers out.
I am the environment.
I'm ready to ding.
Yeah. Okay.
So we ding when
when it resonates. Okay. I'm hoping that some of this will land. Okay.
I think it will.
When 5s go to 8, 5s.
What if I want to be like that, but I'm not?
Yes, you can, because you disintegrate to 5, so you can ding too.
We all can ding, right?
We can all ding.
Okay.
We can all ding.
Quinn, you can ding.
I'll ding.
Wait, but I'm dinging when I
relate to something.
When it resonates, when you're like, oh yeah, I have a little bit of that.
With you, not me.
That's me.
Okay.
That's a fun game. Okay. That's a fun reverse game. You could ding it for other people.
Yeah, you would like.
Oh, we call that. We created that. It's called dong.
It's called.
Oh my god.
Oh wait, no. I thought of another name for it. It's called gossip.
Have you ever played Ding Dong? And you could do it for both at the same time.
We're never gonna get.
Oh no. Dong is when it doesn't resonate.
Oh okay.
But gossip is when yes.
Okay. All right, let's try this out.
Okay, when 5s go to 8, 5s also realize that as little as they think they know, it is still more than almost anyone else.
Ding.
Shut the fuck up.
No, one of my life mantras is that everybody's an idiot.
It is. It really is. God.
Okay, they also realize that they do not have to know absolutely everything before they can act. They will learn more as they do more. They will be able to solve new problems as they arise. They understand.
Yeah, this is me.
They understand that they will know.
Mikey loves improvising.
Okay.
They understand that they will know what they need to know when they need to know it. Their confidence will come not from self-collection of skills or some vast body of information that they have memorized, but from a real connection with their presence in the world. They then experience themselves not as separate from the world, not as a helpless speck, but as a powerful, integral part of it. Integrating fives act from a realization of their own genuine mastery. While they do not know everything, they know enough to lead others with confidence.
Dang.
Word.
Yeah. So
Your teams.
Well, can I pause you for a second?
Please.
Yeah, I feel like a lot of these, what you were saying, probably I realized more in my 30s or maybe late 20s. Being more comfortable not knowing shit and like trying things before I'm an expert. And like the whole, like a common theme on the pod is like try and fail before you succeed. And how important that is. But I think before I was super nervous about embarrassing myself and like failing in front of people.
It's a good
That's
mantra
good
to have.
character development, Mikey.
Yeah.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
On this, I have a Mikey story just really quickly from practice the other night on this idea of thinking everybody else is an idiot. So at practice, I think it was last week.
Well,
I think it was last Tuesday.
including myself, but yeah.
It maybe 2 Tuesdays ago. I can't remember. But we're at practice, and people are kind of like lollygagging, not super focused. People are having, joking around. And Mikey's wanting people to set up do a walkthrough of a drill. And people are just doing it slowly. And he says, if you're walking, you might as well just walk to your car and go home. And it was the funniest thing ever. And me and Jarv have just been quoting that constantly for like the past week and a half now. And so that just reminded me of that. Like, it's hilarious.
Why are we out? We're not out here to waste time.
It's fucking so funny, dude.
Another thing that came to mind while you're reading that was this concept. I think I don't know if it's a psychological principle called the Dunning-Kruger effect. Have you ever heard of it?
Maybe.
It's essentially the premise is people who are generally ignorant or will know less about any given subject or maybe any like information at all tend to have more confidence in how much they know. They think they know that more than they know about something. And the more you become an expert in something, the more you realize how little you know. So you become less confident.
That makes sense.
And then like when you're taking a test, for instance, like they would poll people like after they finish an exam, and people who would generally score poorly on the exam would have pretty high confidence. And people who scored very well on the test generally had lower confidence in how they did. And it's because of this Dunning-Kruger effect.
That's really cool. I like that.
Yeah, that sort of tempers me a little bit to try to have a little more self-awareness. Yeah. I'm very skeptical about how much I know about anything, including Frisbee.
Right. I constantly think that no one knows anything. And that like things are constantly changing and evolving, and that it's like being in like each company that I'm in, it's like people know a lot of stuff and we can like have like this imposter syndrome, but then also at the end of the day it's like no one knows really everything that we think that they do, or like knows how to really operate all of these things, right? Like the world is changing, and like even when I think about employees and like what they want out of work, like that's constantly changing, and like and like we're constantly figuring things out, and it's not like ever gonna be set.
Yeah, I have one more story. Hopefully it's not boring. I've worked in beer for a long time, and I used to have imposter syndrome about that. Like I'd have coworkers that would tell me all this shit about like all these flavor notes from this beer and like how nice it is and how it pairs so well with this other shit. And I would really buy into it. And then I remember like one of my coworkers just said something that they liked. I don't know. Maybe it was like a band or something. But just like something so blatantly stupid, like just like they liked it a lot.
Yeah.
And I just like blatantly disagreed with it. And I was like, wait a minute. Like, why should I trust anybody's opinion about anything? Like, it's all so fucking subjective anyway. Like,
Right.
And then I took the Cicerone test, which is the test. It's basically like being a sommelier, but for beer. And I passed it, but there's a segment where you are supposed to describe the like how well a certain style of beer pairs with what, or like what would it pair well with and why. I totally bullshitted all of it. I didn't fucking know anything. I just wrote whatever.
Yeah.
I'd like very flowery
Yeah.
type words, and it worked. Like I passed. It's
Totally.
fine.
And it's all about confidence. I had the same thing when I worked at the restaurant, and they would ask you to pair wines with like food, and it's all about pretending like your opinion.
Nobody knows.
Because you can pick anything. Because you can be like, because with a wine you could be like, oh, it pairs well with this food because it contrasts.
Yeah.
And then so it's like different.
Or
But then
compliments.
vice versa, you can just go, but actually this, pairs well because it's like similarly like round or like,
Yeah,
rich, like the like fish. So it doesn't fucking matter what you say because it's just a taste thing anyway. And so as long as you're just like are confident in your answer, there's like no way anyone could be like, no, wrong. Unless they have like, I don't know, like there's like a reaction going on in your body as to why they wouldn't pair well together.
Okay, should we continue on the Enneagram train, or should we move on, because we're at the 1 hour mark here?
Let's get moving.
Yeah, are we capping at 115, 120?
No, we're going as long as you let us go. How long?
We go till we can't go anymore.
How about this? Can we keep you for 2 hours max?
2 hours?
One-
Who's listening for
All right.
2 hours?
If
We
you're
have
the guest,
loyal
if you're
listeners,
the
Lisa.
guest.
Yeah, people tell
we
me,
gotta
even
edit- we
I've
gotta
had
edit
multiple
this.
All right. Well, let me move on.
multiple people tell me they clean their room and listen to the pod.
Yeah.
All of it.
So, anyway, I just noticed Quinn is wearing a Kikko hoodie. So shout out Kikko. And that's
Misprint.
yeah, that segues well.
Yeah, it's
to,
the misprint from the first run.
Good rep,
Oh, is
dude.
that right? So you started Kikko Socks in 2016, is that right?
Yeah.
With Kevin.
Yeah.
Minder. How do you say Kevin's last? I never know.
Minderhout.
Minderhout.
I like to call him Minder Hoot. Some people call
The
him
owl.
Minder Sloot.
Minder.
Other people call him Dad. Fresh
yeah.
K. Fresh. Anyways.
Also founder of Next Gen Tour, which I need to get him on the pod.
Yeah, you should. He is doing some incredible things. We can get to that. But
Okay. But anyway, what is the origin of Kikko, and how has it been running the company the last 6 to 7 years? Do you have any future plans for Kikko?
okay, yeah. So we started it 2016 when Kevin and I were living together and dating. Technically, we launched when I was in the C4C. I was like, I don't know, getting food, and
No way.
that's when we like sent out everything into
Oh,
the
really?
world. Yeah, it was wild. So,
Who swiped you in?
damn, that's a good question.
For people that don't know, the C4C is the dining hall at CU.
Yeah. Oh, I don't know. I just remember like being locked into my computer for hours, just like ready to go and launch this thing. But we worked on it for the year prior, and we had our designs, and we went to China, and we really wanted to find a great manufacturer because we knew we wanted to work with this person for a long time. And I remember going on like Alibaba, right, which is like the holy mecca of manufacturing.
Yeah.
And there are like millions of manufacturers on that site, and it was so overwhelming. And we're like, fuck this. We're never going to know who we're buying from, what they're going to make us. We got to go to China. And our flights round trip were like $450.
That was it?
That was it. And up until COVID, they were still under 500 round trip to Shanghai.
So you could go.
We went a couple times to like revisit and check out the stuff, check out how things are being made and whatnot. So there's been a lot of like ups and a lot of downs. It's like difficult, and we're now at a spot where we're able to like manage it still just us two. In terms of new things, we have some brand new socks coming out this summer, which I'm like really excited about. These were actually inspired by Trent, who's one of my favorite people.
Trent Dillon?
Yeah. And he wears Swiftwicks, which are really thin. They're made out of nylon. And he's like, he doesn't really like to wear Kikos because they're like a little bit thicker. He's like, you all should get a thinner sock.
In cleats, wow.
I know, right? He's an interesting dude, but then I noticed Furry people wearing Swiftwicks and like other people wearing Swiftwicks. So I'm like, okay, let's do it. Let's like make something that's a little thinner, still has like that nice thickness, and like let's play around with it. So that's what we're doing, and we're really going for it. We're doing like these funky colors. We're kind of going like neon. We also have like our standard all black, all white.
All white, baby.
Whites are fresh.
Do you have is a neon pink coming out? Please tell me.
Yeah, there's a little bit of that.
Come on, let's go.
Yeah, a little hint of that. Yeah, we're
Love
really
it.
stoked that we're just like slowly introducing more and more products and trying to make our other products better. We've been toying with the idea of doing kind of like compression-y underwear, undershorts, and whatnot. But
you're gonna go head to head with 2XU.
Yeah, I'm a 2XU truther. He can't.
Someone's got to take him down.
2XUs.
Someone will take him down, right? Just like with all the other companies, there's gonna be someone that takes them all down. So we'll see about that though.
I'll try them out. I don't wear 2XU. I wear just random Nike, random Under Armour.
I don't think we're going to go as tight as 2XUs. Those ones are like hard to get off, kind of like compression. I think we're going to go more in the like not so restrictive.
Like a Nike compression short.
That's what I wear. That's 2XU.
Okay,
too
gotcha.
tight for
So
me.
I don't think you'll be able to exactly rock it with no shorts.
Well, I'm out then.
Yeah.
That's it, man. I'm out.
I know. Yeah, you and
I'll
Cole.
wear the socks, but
Yeah.
Yeah, you really started a trend, Quinn.
yeah, I here's the thing about I'm gonna go on a little tangent about myself. Here's the thing. Not wearing the shorts, like it doesn't actually help. It's the exact same fucking thing. It feels no different. But I had to like set myself apart a little bit. Like I had to build my own brand, and I think it worked.
Totally.
Like a lot of people do it now.
You're branded, dude.
I wasn't the first one to do it, obviously, but I don't know.
Calvin got yelled at nationals for it.
Hell yeah, that's awesome.
What about the origin of the Kikko name? That was named after like a dog you saw in Hawaii. Is that right?
Yeah. When I was 13, where I like first learned to surf, my aunt lives in Maui. She's been living there for like 30 years. And I went over there and she taught me how to surf. And there's this dog that she knew that was like this wonderful neighborhood dog that would like come with us to the beach and just like sometimes go on the boards with us and whatnot. And the dog's name was Kikko. And I just remember like having this just like absolute love and like, I don't know, you know how it is with dogs. We'll segue, I'm sure, into dogs at some point. But just like this love for this dog and how this dog was just like so chill, such an island dog, doing whatever, very free-spirited, very lovable. And that name just like always stuck with me. And I'm like, Kikko, wow, what a cool name. So.
And then where did the logo come from?
Oh, yeah.
That one came from Kevin had an iPad and I was drawing around with things and we had the Kikko name. And I also love penguins. I mean, I honestly love all kinds of animals. And a penguin kind of felt fitting. I think penguins are also incredible animals, right? They can endure some of the like harshest weather climates. They're just like absolute warriors, I think. And it just felt very fitting with the K when I was playing around with it.
Oh yeah.
And then Jessie Schaffner was actually the one that like finalized the logo because she was like talented with the whole computer stuff.
It is now iconic, I would say.
For sure.
All right, this is a good time to segue into our wonderful companions, the dogs. So
You ever thought about making cleats? Sorry, you ever thought about making cleats, Lisa?
No.
You're out.
It would be way too hard, right? but it would be sick, dude.
I also think about like one of my main concerns is like warehousing, and it's nice that I could currently fit everything in my house or like in on my plot, right? If we got cleats,
gotcha.
not to say that, you know, it'd just be also, it would take a ton of time in order to find like the perfect one. And there's already other companies doing it. So many companies, it's saturated. Not like socks aren't.
But here's the thing.
I think socks are.
But here's the thing. If you made cleats, you could make cleats for specific people. So like there could be a Lisa P cleat.
Oh yeah.
And then other people could buy the Lisa P.
I would buy that.
Horrible
marketing idea.
Or the
How
cleat
cool
and
would that be?
The cleat and the sock could be one thing.
Oh my god!
You could definitely get. you could get to be the first Manu vault the Cardenas. I'm wearing the Cardenas hat.
Oh yeah, it's such a good hat.
It's a lovely hat.
Right.
Well, think about it. If you. I'd be willing to potentially be an investor in this endeavor. So.
Yeah, me too.
All right, companions.
Right. Yeah, we'll segue. We'll segue into our dogs. Lisa, I know you lost Leila at nationals, right?
Mm-hmm.
Was it 21?
Yeah.
And I lost Boss, my dog. Almost feeling a little teary eyed thinking about it this January. And I think we were both pretty well known for having a good relationships with our dogs. Quinn, you have 2 right now. I know you said you lost one in college as well. Kins has Rubi with his dad. Yeah, so this is kind of a question for the group, and that's just like, do you have any like fun or funny or shareable memories and like about your companions, about your dogs and your pets, and like what that means to you? And Quinn, it seemed like you had something on your tip of your tongue, but I was going to start with Lisa.
I have a story, not about my dogs, but about a dog, if we want to start with that.
We'd love to.
Sure.
So the other night Devin and I were driving home from a housewarming party, and we came across a pug just sitting in the middle of the road in our neighborhood, just sitting there. So we get out of the car and we grab him, and doesn't have a collar. We take him to the vet. He doesn't have a microchip. It's like 10 o'clock at this point. And we're like, what do we do with this pug? So we drove around our neighborhood for like an hour. Nobody's looking for him, nothing. So this little guy sleeps at our house in the bed with Devin, and we just got really attached to him. And he's at the shelter right now, and nobody's claiming him, and it's really, really
you want
sad.
To give us which shelter can we
Yeah, let's
try
post
to
it.
Yeah. Let's
boost it out.
Let's see. It's
a
shelter by my house.
Audience here.
Have you named this pug master?
Yeah, we were calling him Potato. And he's the cutest little guy. Yeah, there he is.
Oh.
Yeah.
See that?
Oh, he is cute.
Looks so young.
Yeah, he's like, they said he is about 3 years old. And he's got really bow legs. Like his legs are like completely bowed, and he's just the cutest. And I've been texting everybody I know to adopt him, so hopefully he'll get adopted. But he's at
if you're listening,
Riverdale Animal Shelter.
Where do you live?
I'm in like North Glen area, so it's like Thornton, Broomfield, a little outside Denver.
Okay.
Yeah. So if anybody's looking for a cute little pug that snores, Potato is for you.
Yeah. I'm glad that you found him though.
Yeah.
Yeah, but like Devin was like crying when we gave him to the shelter, and because we couldn't keep him. We honestly were like, maybe we'll just keep him, but we have a dog that's slightly aggressive towards other dogs. Not slightly, is very aggressive towards other dogs. So unfortunately, we couldn't keep little Potato.
That's Ricky.
Yeah, I have 2 dogs. I've got a big golden retriever named Winnie, who's the nicest dog ever, and then we have a mutt mix named Ricky, who's the meanest dog ever. So it's perfect.
I've never seen Ricky because you always hide Ricky when anybody.
Yeah, because she'll bite you. But they love the dogs love each other, and that's all that matters.
Yeah. All right, so Lisa, can you tell us a little bit about any memories that Leila was how old was she?
14.
14.
How old was Boss?
She was 9.5, which is like edge of Bernese Mountain Dog life expectancy.
Okay. How about you start, and I'll start thinking.
Okay. Yeah. So Boss was 9.5. Honestly, so she was like super healthy in like mobility wise, and she had some lumps, and then I got them checked out, and in December, I don't know why I'm telling the sad part, but I guess I'll finish it quickly.
It's like, what did you get out of Boston?
Yeah. Lumps.
She had lumps.
Actually, no. I'll go to happy memory of like. So we found out that she had cancer, and so I started taking her to all the parks in Denver. The last 7 to 10 days she was alive, and we were at City Park, which is blocks south of very close to my house, and I was walking around in the snow, and a lady stopped me and was like, "Oh, your Berner's so cute. I love Bernese Mountain Dogs, and like, is she a puppy? Like, she seems so spry and everything."
Wow.
And that was actually really heartwarming to hear because, she still had some life in her, and she did look young, even though I think it runs in the family. I'm almost 40. And get ID'd all the time. So good genes in the fam. But yeah, so like that was the one thing that I always remember about her, that she always had that youthful energy even as she was approaching 10. Mm-hmm. And like now, like it's funny how your dogs train you as well. Like I still wake up super early. I can't sleep in because she would wake me up. If I hear somebody like I don't know if the mic will pick this up, but like that noise, a knock on the door, like I perk up and like go, oh shit, because Boss would bark at the door, things like that. Damn. Yeah, but she was like my best friend for almost a decade, and the best decision I ever made. She pretty much went everywhere with me. Maybe not quite as mobile as Leila was, and in terms of size, or like even Maddie's dog, Ellie, who everybody knows as well in the Frisbee world.
Great dog.
But yeah, just super thankful, super grateful. The best friend I could ask for.
Right. Yeah, that's the thing with dogs, right? It's like whatever phase that you have them in, they see you through all of the phases. Right, so it's like I got Leila when my dad was getting his second divorce. I'm like, you're getting me a dog, and we went to this rescue foundation, and like so I had her in high school, and then all the way through college, and then all the way through Colorado, and all that stuff. So it's like they see
huge
you,
changes,
not like they see you, but you get to like experience this like undying support animal. Where it's just like you can turn to them and you just like they will just constantly love you and just like give you whatever it is that you like need throughout whatever phase that you're in. So even if you get a dog now, right, like that dog will see you through like maybe retirement.
Hopefully I retire soon.
How old are you?
I honestly am hoping to retire young.
Right. So for like Leila, one of my favorite moments was when, there's so many, right? Like Leila is super mobile, which I really, really love. Sure you've seen the pictures of her in a backpack at like tournaments and whatnot. But I remember this one birthday, it was like me and Nut and Jean and like Nee. We all went into the mountains and like had a great day for my birthday and then came back. And Leila and I had like this epic stare off where I've never seen her more like locked in on me on like the whole challenging thing, like how you can like look at the dog in the eyes and just like do that thing. And we did it for so long. And I've never seen, she's like a little dog and her attention can go really quickly sometimes, but it was like, I don't know, it just felt
She was locked in on
Yeah,
you.
it was just like so locked in, and it was just like very funny that it was also on like that day, and
Yeah, like
and it was,
really
and she was,
day to you.
yeah, and she was a lot older too. She only had, I think, like 2 years left after that. So it was a wonderful time.
Wonderful memory.
I feel like eye contact just deepens the connection between like any animals. Like I feel like that way with humans and also with the dogs. Just like whenever the dog or like the human or whatever, you make eye contact with them, it seems like there's more of a connection there than if you're just kind of staring off into other places.
Do you have any good Ruby stories? Your dad's dog, Ruby, right? Little Ruby.
Yeah, Ruby was good. Ruby's dad also. I tried to tell you.
Oh, really?
Yeah, you were like,
wow.
I actually did it like you had the question like Rick brings Ruby everywhere, and I just edited it to brought.
Wow.
Luckily, I've had a lot of time to process. No, actually, it was actually really. It was nice. Like she died right before Club Nationals. And I remember just like Ruby was always so happy to go to the Frisbee fields. Like she didn't care who won or lost. And that was like, I tried to bring that. I tried to bring that to Nationals. It's actually it's sad. It's not sad.
Damn.
It's not sad, but it was meaningful in the moment for sure.
Right.
Yeah. I remember like seeing her under Rick's chair, hiding in the shade while he was watching you play.
Yeah. No, the best Ruby Frisbee thing was like she understood the concept of the field, I guess, or like a game, or just like trained herself to know like what it was. So she would stay on the sideline during the games. Kind of like similar to like Ellie, like she'll stay on the sideline during the games, but then like as soon as like the handshake line would go, like she would go do the handshake line like with all the players.
Really? That's hilarious.
Yeah, so she knew like when people were playing, like she understood basically for the most part like
that's crazy
when people were playing. Yeah, but she just was around. Like we grew up at the Frisbee fields, so you just kind of
how old was she?
Trained on that. She was old. She was like 15. She had my dad is like takes good care of his dogs and like almost to like he
treats them like they're another child.
Yes, and like doesn't hang out with like other people as much. Like is like whole life revolves around like taking care of the dog. So like that was like his life. So it's great for the dog. It's great. It's a good relationship and it's very healthy. So Ruby had a good life and it was always
love to hear it.
Always fun to see her. Yeah.
Does your dad listen to the pod?
I don't know. I'm not sure. Yeah.
Well,
we'll send him this segment.
Yeah, we'll send him this one.
I would say I don't know. I'm not sure.
I'll clip this. I've been bad about clipping lately, but I'll clip this one for him.
Yeah.
Quinn, what about you? Did you have a follow-up question before you won?
No, I don't know if I have a story. My dogs are still alive, so I'm that was pretty heavy. I don't know. I don't know. There's something that's funny is Devin always thinks that I love our dog Winnie more than I love her. So and that's kind of funny. And I'm a little bit like Winnie. Winnie's very happy-go-lucky, just an idiot all the time, really energetic and stuff. And then go with the flow. And then Devin's just like Ricky and kind of
intense,
kind of mean and intense, and so it's funny. It's funny because Ricky always hangs out with Devin and Winnie always hangs out with me. So we kind of like have our own dogs, but they're both our dogs. But it's kind of a funny way that they fit into our lives together, but separate at the same time.
They mirror their parents.
Yeah, exactly.
Sure
do. Well, I would pour one out for our dogs right now if I still had a drink.
Should I text him it?
I'm out of LaCroix.
Yeah. Well, how about a little smoothie LaCroix cheers in the house for Boss, Leila, Ruby, Winnie, and Ricky.
Imagine all
and
of them.
Potato.
Imagine all of them in the room together, you know?
Yeah.
Wow. They're all here with
Ricky
us.
would be eating them all alive.
Sweet. So we don't have a ton more on the list here, and since Lisa is skeptical about,
Hang on, I have a question. I have a question for Lisa. Lisa, do you know what the ultimate reference page is?
No.
You don't?
No.
Okay,
is that something I can find on Reddit or what is that?
I'll pull it up on my.
It's Mike, pull it up. It's basically a page that's I don't know who created it. It's a pit player that created it.
Current?
And it
I
have no idea. I really don't even know. But it basically just pulls players placements and the teams that they were with and the year it was and the division it was in. And for some reason, I have yours pulled up. And for some reason,
I see the same thing now. Looking it up.
For some reason, it says your name, Lisa Picaithley, and then in quotations next to it, it says Ginger. So I don't know why, but this person must know you.
Oh my God! Holy loaded resume. Jeez Louise,
yeah,
that's like I gotta scroll through this one.
I'm also almost thinking that Trent knows this person, and Trent put that in there.
They do. I'm handing the iPad to Lisa. They do have nicknames for other people as well, so it's not just Lisa. But
Ginger, can we edit that?
Who calls?
But Lisa, has anybody ever called you that? Is that even a nickname?
That was like maybe when I was in high school.
It's like
when I was like a
descriptor.
Good Frisbee player, and I was redhead.
I just thought it was funny. I thought you would know.
Ultimate reference. Wow.
It's actually pretty cool.
It's pretty cool, but I just thought that was hilarious. And I thought you would know why, but I guess not.
Somebody knew you.
I used to be called that. But there's also, I mean, they call that. It's just not so. It's not original, right? They call
it's not a nickname.
They call every redhead Ginger.
Yeah, I wouldn't describe it as a nickname. Like if it said LP or if it said something like one of your 1,000 nicknames, I would be like, oh, that makes sense.
Right. Brought to you by Pitt
Funny.
Ultimate. Oh yeah. Matthew Berman and Joe C. Oh,
the icon is.
Oh, I know. Pretty sure I know
Pitt.
Joe.
You know.
I think so. Nice setup on that. That's cool.
On the iPad.
Yeah.
Oh, we can email info@ultimate-reference.com.
Yeah, tell him to put Lisa P. And I'll do it.
Did we lose?
We'll send them this.
Did we lose Kins?
Is that why it's so quiet?
We might have, but that's okay. We'll let him rejoin in his own cadence here. I do have. Let's see. I got to pull up the doc again. I did want to ask you at least one more thing. About what you're here to do after we record today. A little hangout time with Smith on your set.
Quinn, you coming this year, bro?
Likely not. No.
You could go for it. You could go for a day or two.
Don't we have? I think we have. Frisbee is too important to me during the season, unfortunately.
That's why Maddie never goes, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I don't go because I would just die.
I
would love to come.
You all have the wrong idea. You have no idea what you're doing.
No.
No idea.
I don't. It's just not for me.
All right, folks. For those listening at
I would
home,
love to come.
Yeah, you want to explain
what we're talking about?
You want to explain it?
Okay, so there is this, oh my God, beautiful event that was started by some Colorado folks. We call it Bus Rave, but the more formal name is called Where the Wild Things Are. And one of the centerpieces is Wesley Chow's school bus. He bought a school bus, and they were like, okay, let's drive this into the mountains, way deep, like 4.5 hours away from Denver, on our properties, on our friend's grandparents' land, who has like so many acres. I don't know.
In Pagosa?
Yeah, and like maybe 100 acres. I don't know. Big plot of land. And what we do is we basically put on our own festival where we have different performers, different activities going on during the day, like volleyball. I'm not kidding. Every year I spend about, I'd say 12 hours throughout the 3 days spending volleyball or playing volleyball. It's so fun. Obviously, we're under the influence on some substances, the good ones, if you know what I'm talking about. And then at night we play music for each other and just have the best time ever. There's like tie-dye, there's a tea station, there's bubble making, there's endless wonderful conversations you have with people. It's just like a great event. And there's probably around 60 of us that go. So after this, I'm having my wonderful helper and producer, Smit, help with my set. Maybe I'll give a little taste to you three later on.
Yes. What's your favorite set that someone's played at the bus rave?
Ooh, I think Skinny. We call him Skinny. His name's Cal.
Yeah, Cal.
Not Cal Stoughton from Colorado. Cal Delamere.
Yeah.
Kelvin Delamere.
Yeah.
Also from
Kelvin
Colorado, though.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Other
Boulder
one
High.
though is from Maryland.
He is
Something like
from
that.
Maine.
Maine. That's right. Skinny puts on a great set. Liza's also been ripping. Nee has been killing it. Honestly, like anyone that plays music up there, it's like they can do no wrong. It's so fun. It's just like the best time. Like you're literally with all the people you love, listening to great music and just having the best time. And there's never a bad time at the bus rave. Oh, it's camping too.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. Smith has described your set as hard.
That does not surprise me.
What do you
at all.
mean? Quinn, what do you
That's
mean?
all you listen to. That's all you listen to, dude.
I should give you a little. No, that's not all I listen to, but
But it's most of what you listen to.
yeah. This year I'm spicing it up a little bit. I'm actually really, really excited for what I'm doing this year. I've been trying to like do new things. Like last year, I had like a bunch of dedicated songs to folks and like wrote like little cards. So when those songs came up, I like ran over and gave them like a note because it was like a song that me and this person shared. So it's just like
Dude,
fun, like
that's
little
sick.
gimmicks. This year it's a surprise. I don't think anyone going will listen, but I'm having a bunch of performances. So I probably have like 10 people doing 10 different things for different songs, and no one knows what the other people are doing. And other people going doesn't know what they're doing. And like, for instance, Manu is going to be doing like a lip sync to a Bad Bunny song at some point. It's just going to, and like,
Which one?
she's just going to like rip it out, and like no one has any idea that this is going to happen.
Yeah.
So I'm like really
which Bad Bunny song?
Titi me pregunto.
Yeah. Okay. Cool.
So hype. So like little, it's just like fun to like put on a performance and for folks, especially when they have like no idea what's coming. And it's like not like by Kins, and sometimes it's not.
He's coming back.
Okay, great. And sometimes, it's just like you just make whatever it is that you can, low budget, obviously. And especially because we don't have like these graphics, right? These big stages behind us. We do have a sweet speaker system that they've built that, Stanley and like Dar, holy shit, the things that they've
Stan's in
actually...
the garage right now, I think, assembling the speaker.
Yeah, he's in a meeting actually for Bus Rave. He said it started at 6:30.
That's right.
Yeah.
Hey, welcome back, Kins. But yeah, it's like, that was also kind of the idea. I was like, okay, we don't have like these big stages putting on all these lights and like lasers in your eyes. So I kind of want to put on like these live performances to like keep upping the like set.
Yeah. Does anybody actually make their own music, or is it mostly just like a curated set of music that they like?
A few folks have like put in some
a few folks have
tracks,
mixed. Okay.
But for the
That's
most part,
sick.
it's just like straight DJing.
Yeah, just that's sick.
So fun. It's honestly one of the best weeks of my life.
What do you think it'll be like in 5 years?
What it'll be like? Tickets are $1,000. We're on a cruise ship going to the Bahamas. I don't know. I think it'll be hopefully something similar. I kind of like to think of it as like a sacred space.
Yeah.
I think the more and more you like add too much of the like hecticness or like, what have you, then it might lose its touch. So I could see it going like a little bit bigger, but I think we want to keep it at like this because I think it's kind of perfect.
Kind of like Club Ultimate.
Yeah, I actually wanted to.
Yeah. Speaking
ask
of which,
about that.
Okay, for real though. How do we let's all think here. How can we get, I don't know if you're all on the same page with me about this, but how do we get nationals? Did y'all see that it probably won't be in San Diego?
What?
That just was
This
announced
year?
today. They just changed the location to TBD. It's like this big old thread.
No, I did
So
not.
because they just upped the prices a shit ton in San Diego, and now USAU is like, okay, I don't know where we're gonna do it. The stadium costs a lot. Speaking of which, this is what I want to hear your thoughts on. I really want to like start protesting or getting away from like stadiums and like the whole like ESPN.
For
Like you remember Sarasota?
specific for USA Ultimate.
Specifically for like those big tournaments, yeah, like nationals. Like where we're playing it on the actual fields, on the grass fields.
We've had a lot of conversations with a lot of different people about this topic.
I have.
Like Liam was really a bit strong proponent of. He really likes the feeling of just having people surrounding the field.
Oh yeah.
On the grass. Obviously the three of us are involved in the AUDL, so like a different league though. So we definitely support that model, but like tournaments in general are just much different. And I've said a lot how like I honestly don't really like tournaments because there's just like so many games and
It's a lot.
It's like tough on your body. That's a good question though, like especially for the USA Ultimate standpoint. Like ESPN, I would much prefer if Ultiworld just covered everything.
Right.
I think they do a better job. Were you about to say
But
something?
here's the thing:
Let's hear it.
is it's all going to come back to money. But like people, I wish Ultiworld would cover it all, but they don't have the resources to do it well. And then people, if they did, they'd have to up their prices, and people complain about that. Like I don't know how many people complained about having to pay $20 a month to watch college nationals this weekend, which in my opinion is a fair price. And then on the flip side, for USAU, everybody every year complains about dues, and they're like $60 a year. Like it's just for all this to be reality, people would need to put more money into it, like we've talked about in the past, and it's not going to happen. It just doesn't feel like it's ever going to happen for people. I don't know.
It's not something that players seem to
But
want.
wouldn't having it at like just at the fields, you wouldn't need more money, right? Like why would you need more money just to have it at the normal?
We lost you a little bit there, but I think you're asking why it would save money to have finals, semis, and I think the stadiums themselves cost money in addition to the actual
Stadiums cost a lot.
Field site.
No, I'm saying it would. I was saying it would save money. Like Quinn saying, I'm saying Quinn is saying it would need more money, but if it was just that, then it would probably be you would just need less.
Oh yeah.
Than you would to get a stadium.
But the start of this conversation was that the fields in San Diego are too expensive now, and it's likely going to be moved because of the price of them.
I think what Kins was probably mentioning is you were touching on the Ultiworld may not have the resources. I think that's sort of debatable too. Like
fair.
The coverage that they have, I think, is pretty good. It's good enough for me. I mean, I would pay a premium for drone footage, but I'm like not as a spectator, as a coach and analyst.
Type 5.
Top 5. Oh, type 5. Yeah, type 5. But yeah,
I like the coverage as well.
The only thing I was thinking about, Lisa, was what bunch of.
Keep going.
Sorry, it's delayed, but I was gonna say, Lisa, like if people, then that's the only problem I see with having it at a field site where they line up, is if like hundreds and hundreds of people watch, then maybe they can all see.
Well, back in like Sarasota, they would have bleachers that they would bring out. Like, I don't know, it would be what, 6 or 7 rows up or something like that. They could have those, and then other people could also line the fields. Like
Yeah.
there's
Right.
options for both.
That would be sick.
I mean, that's what
That
they
would be
had in
sick.
Sarasota, and that was like the freaking best. It just it creates this environment that is like grassroots ultimate, at least in my mind, and I think in a lot of other people's mind, of just like, you know, we want to play in like that like truly electric kind of environment, and it just isn't the same when you're in a stadium.
Yeah. Well, I mean, I never played in the stadium. I just watched, even as a coach. So I don't really know what the feeling is like from player perspective. Does it feel desolate and empty with like an empty stands?
I mean, so the thing is like playing for the Summit, and let's say we've had like 2,000 people at a game before, and it doesn't feel like a lot of people. But if you're at a field with 100 or 150 or 200 people watching a game on a field on the sideline, it feels like there's 25,000 people there.
Right.
Like the difference, it's crazy. I'm with Lisa. I think that environment is super sick, and
also,
I think that would be awesome.
Yeah, and also you can actually like, maybe this is me being me, but it's like when you're in those moments with your friends, right, surrounding the field, like from other teams, you can actually see them and you actually hear them, right? It's like they're part of that game, and it's like being in a stadium, like you can hear people, but not really. I don't know. It just like feels way more of a.
It's grassroots, intimate.
It's
sure.
so intimate, and I love that.
Yeah.
I love playing in a game where people are lining the fields.
It's definitely a different experience, and the question can be asked from like the player's perspective, and like whose perspective is the most important, do you think? Like yours as a player, or not like the general you?
It should be the players. Like we're playing it for each other, right? For ourselves. And
what about like?
Yeah, no one's making money.
I'm not on this chase for legitimacy. That's not a goal of mine.
What about like growth for exposing the sport to more people?
Yeah, but is that the like avenue for it?
You mean state?
Because I agree that there should be growth in the sport, and I do believe in that. But like going in a stadium, I don't know.
I don't
know if that's.
I don't know either.
I mean, my take on that is growth. Yeah, where like I feel like everybody's in for growth of the sport, and a lot of that growth is going to come from viewership and getting eyes on it, and the better viewing experience is in a stadium, unfortunately.
Right. It looks more
better
professional.
playing experiences on the field. Yeah, it looks better.
Right.
It's easier to watch for people that are there. The stream is just like obviously way better than that. So it just really depends on like I guess what we're after.
So I'm actually I'm like just trying to play devil's advocate on all sides. Like the viewing experience, I don't know if it is better at a stadium, at least from like a streaming standpoint. Probably usually, but if Ultiworld has one of those, whatever those lifts are called, in a good spot, it's fine. I don't care about anything else.
But you're also in the sport, and someone coming on that doesn't watch Frisbee, seeing the game being played on a field that's not lined and half the grass is dead compared to seeing it in a stadium.
The dead grass, maybe. Well, see, that's a good question though. Like when you watch another sport though, like, do you really think about that? I mean, sometimes I watch Spike Ball on YouTube sometimes. Like, it's like I don't give a shit. Like these guys are playing.
But the thing is you're a Frisbee player, so you don't. But all those other people that don't play Frisbee do care about that stuff. Like when I used to watch, I watch a lot of football, and when the Raiders played on the baseball field and half their field was fucking not grass, like that was awful.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, that's true.
Right? Like, or if you watch like some of those fields that just get destroyed, it's just not a legitimate, like we're back to the legitimacy thing, which I don't think any of us are after, but like for a viewing experience for someone that's not in the sport, it's kind of important.
I agree, but I think it's lower on the. I think it's a lower priority.
Agreed. I agree with you.
It's sort of like, what we're doing right now. You know, like none of this is professional quality. And
what do you mean? Kins has been up on the air for half the time.
Shut up. Shut up. I'm plugged in now. I plugged in.
But it's sort of like, maybe the podcast is not a good example.
Never happened before. I blame Mikey's setup.
Sorry. With the like, I've heard people talk about logos and logo generation and like people marketing and people trying to come up with the perfect logo for their brand. And then like people who are actually graphic designers or designing those things will say like, yeah, like you can get a sick logo and all that stuff, but what really like I think that the description was like the logo is a container and it's an empty container if you have no like substance to back the logo, like as a brand or like as a service provider. So you actually have to provide something of value for it to matter. So like in that sense, like I don't know if I really truly believe that Frisbee, the presentation of Frisbee has to be that sweet. I think like things like stoppages though, like that fucking sucks. I can't watch Club Ultimate or College Ultimate because it's like 2 throws stop. And like what the fuck are they talking about? And it's like points last less than a minute most of the time. Unless it's a high turnover point or like really windy. And then it's 90 seconds till next pull. It's like, it's most of the time is watching them stand still. And that's not fun to me.
People gripe about this in the NBA too, is the fouls and the refereeing, the pace of the play. Like, yeah, it just doesn't feel like Liam said, this really resonated with me. Like Frisbee's not meant to be ref. The sport is not designed to be reffed, and it's a impossible job that we're giving them. But it feels like it almost needs to be for viewership.
I don't know if I agree with that either. I think you refs could figure it out eventually.
We need like 7 of them.
Yeah, maybe more. But
yeah.
All right, final question. I was looking at the other videos that you all had.
Yeah.
And they all have their own titles. What are you all going to title this one?
Oh, well, that's a surprise.
Ginger.
Do you want to say?
I think my new role on the pod will just be one-liners because my connection is so bad. So I'll just come in with the one-liner that I can get in there.
That was a stellar one-liner. Yeah, that was good.
No, it'll be a surprise. I can't wait.
Yeah. Any final thoughts for Lisa before we let her go?
I got nothing unless Lisa has any final thoughts for us. No pressure.
Let's go win another one.
Yeah.
Let's talk more shop. Async on this one.
You don't want to talk strat in the pod?
We already had 2 hours, man.
Lisa's fatigued.
No, I think we should at some point. I think it'd be fun. But
okay. Okay. Well, Lisa. DJ Sa. Thanks for joining the pod. Peace out, everybody.
Hey, thanks for having me, you two.
Of course.
See y'all.
Bye.
Bye, Kins. So quiet.
I'm not leaving.